Recently, there's been a lot of news about the new Call of Duty that's coming out on the 5th of November. It's called Call of Duty Vanguard, and there's been a lot of hype about it. And a lot of people are like, this is the next big thing for Call of Duty, this is the next big step. But I look at it and I think, what have they actually done that's different? Now, historically, Call of Duty's run in a 3-year cycle where the game developers have 3 years to work on their game. And historically, it's been Treyarch that have made the best games. They made all the Black Ops games and the recent Cold War game. But Infinity War have sort of stopped that with Modern Warfare. Now, people are saying that's the best Call of Duty in the last 5 years, and I personally also think the Cold War was pretty decent and Black Ops 3 was pretty decent. All the games in between that have been shockingly bad. Now, it's Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer, and also Raven Software have also stepped in there, and they made the Modern Warfare remastered, which was pretty decent. But with Vanguard, now the problem that Vanguard's going to have is the same problem that Ghost had way back in the day, is they have to make a game for 2 generations of consoles. They have to make it for the Xbox One and PS4, and then for the PS5 and the Xbox X. Now, the last Call of Duty made nearly $700 million, so nothing to look past. And there's a reason why they make them every single year, and they have 3 separate studios working on them year by year, and it's because of money, and they make a lot of money for these studios. When you think about it, they really have 2 years to work on each game. Because the year after they launch their game, they obviously have to be working on updates, DLC, and maps for that current year's game. And then after that year's cycle's finished, when the game succeeds like Black Ops 3 did, they were releasing stuff 2 or 3 years after with Zombies Chronicles. But when games like Black Ops 4 Cold War, I feel like after that year cycle is finished, they're going to stop making content for it so they can focus on the game that they're going to be releasing in 2 or 3 years' time. Now, the reason why I believe Ghost drops is because they were trying to make a game for the 360 and PS3, and then also for the Xbox One and PS4, which obviously didn't work. Now, the graphics just weren't all there, the gameplay just wasn't all there. When you're working with 2 systems, it's quite difficult to make a game that will run smoothly on both consoles, previous and current gen. There seems to be a bit of a tradition with Call of Duty games where when they have a good run, they have a good run of 2, and then they have a shit game. The same thing happened years ago when you think about it with Black Ops 2 and then Modern Warfare 3. And then when Ghost dropped, there was a bit of an uproar. Now, in my personal opinion, the last 2 Call of Duties were pretty decent. I think Cold War copied Modern Warfare, which was probably a very good idea. But I also think that the Cold War campaign was lacking a little bit. But they did bring back the characters like Mason and Woods, even if they did recast them, which I thought was a very stupid idea, considering Sergeant Frank Woods is literally a staple. His voice is his character when you think about it, because graphics change and the appearance of him has changed as Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 4, but his voice should stay the same. I know they did the same with Captain Price, but I think that change was actually a good change, whereas with Woods, it just wasn't. And I also don't like the fact that they didn't even contact Woods, the real life voice actor, they just recasted him. So after the Call of Duty Vanguard trailer dropped, I was quite optimistic. A World War II Call of Duty, wow, we have never seen that before. So yeah, when the trailer dropped, I absolutely did not like the setting of World War II. I think it's so old and repetitive, and from somebody who I just have to look at Ghosts, that was a repetitive trend from the previous Call of Duties to a repetitive trend with Vanguard. We've seen World War II settings so often, and I feel like it's just a clutch that modern Call of Duties fall onto because they don't want to go into the future because that got torn apart. So they go into the past and what's a big war, World War II. But in all seriousness, I was openly optimistic about the trailer, and I was sort of looking forward to the alpha and beta before I judged the final game. But looking at the alpha, the game sucked. Why would you put a 2v2 scenario in the alpha? You want to test as many bugs as possible. You want to have 6v6. You want to play the game how it's meant to be played with real people who can spot out the problems with your game. So obviously the game wasn't done. If you're doing a 2v2, the game isn't done. They've had 3 years to work on this. Their last Call of Duty, the campaign looked cool. The graphics and cinematics were cool, but the overall game sucked. The problem with setting it in World War II, if you're going to pussy around and not show the Nazi symbols because you don't want to offend people. I understand that. But if you want to be authentic and have real scenarios of them killing Jews and putting them in slave camps, and then you can't put a Nazi flag, the disparities between those two things are so obscene. Like, you're showing people in a slave camp, but you aren't showing the Nazi flag. It seems so strange. Now, I know there was a German rule that made it so you couldn't put the Nazi symbol in games, but in 2018 that rule was lifted. I don't understand why they're still doing it in 2021 when they've had so long to realize that that rule is not existent anymore. And even games like Wolfenstein in 2019, that had Nazi symbols and they just blurred it for the German one or changed it for the German version. So I don't understand why a ruling like that for a big brand like Call of Duty, why they even care, because Wolfenstein, a much smaller game, that it was a lot more vulgar and a lot more authentic. I know they did twist some storylines, but they were a lot more authentic with how they would represent the German sort of outfit. Another big factor with these Call of Duties is the guns. When you base them in World War II or in the past, there's so many limitations with the guns. So we basically already know there's going to be the MP40, the AK-74U, the AK-47, those sort of guns, and there's not a lot of variety. So we know what we're going to get before we've already played the game, guns wise, and even like in terms of like the overall look of the maps. We know they're going to be war based, and we know they're going to be rough, and there's going to be flames. You know, you're going to have a Molotov grenade. Like, it's going to be old fashioned sort of World War sort of vibes. And for some people that's a cool aesthetic, but for me, I'm incredibly bored of it. And almost every single first person shooter is either sort of current day or World War II. Either World War II or, and honestly that's just boring. For me, what I'd like to see is like way back, like literally like Vikings or like American Revolution, is that what it's called? With like the Native Americans and like the guns back then and how stupid they were to use. And obviously you can make it a little bit easier to use, like you could probably add ARs and stuff. I know they weren't a thing back then. You can add those either way back in the day, like either like Vikings or I know that's not really Call of Duty, that's not really guns, but like we've like, when you make a game every year and you make a game all the way back since 2004, like there's not a lot of places where you can't hit. And I'm pretty sure Call of Duty's done pretty much every single war at this point. Like they did Vietnam in Black Ops 1, they did Cold War recently, they did Modern Warfare, they've done World War 2, pretty sure they did World War 1 in Big Red 1, right? Is that World War 1? And they've done like so many modern day Call of Duties. They've done a couple of future Call of Duties, like they've done 2024. But that was with Black Ops 2, and then with Black Ops 3 they went even further forward, and then with Advanced Warfare they went, I think, pretty sure that's 2060. And then Ghost is like I think 2013, 2012. So they've done so many years, but they haven't done way back like Vikings. Like I know the Assassin's Creed was Vikings. It wasn't cool because of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'm pretty sure that the game's already out and it's gotten some okay reviews. But the problem is when there's no guns, you can't really do much with Call of Duty. But I suppose they could just have it set back then and then have guns, or maybe just made up worlds, like a made up time period, like something weird happens in like 2005, or even like they could have like, I know with like Marvel they got like the multiverse, like you could have a Call of Duty that doesn't have a setting and like the maps are just sort of sporadic. So you have one map that's from like the Cold War, one map that's from World War II, one map that's from 2024. Like you just combine all the years and make cool maps from each year, and maybe have 6 maps from World War II, 6 maps from modern day, 6 maps from the future, and then just put them all together. I don't know how that would work, how they'd be able to run that on the same engine, but just go for it. Just go all out. You've done so many Call of Duties, and there's just quite limited in what you can and can't do. And I reckon just say scrap the rules and just make it Call of Duty. Just call it Call of Duty and just have every year and every gun possible and so many guns and so many weapons, and just really just go all out. But yeah, that's my take on the new Call of Duty. I'm not that impressed. I'm not really looking forward to it. But hey, I hope I'm wrong. I hope the next Call of Duty is really sick. I'm kind of just sick and tired of each year's Call of Duty coming out. And I really hope they just combine it and make one really good Call of Duty with all the studios working on it all at once and just having all these crazy sick ideas. Sort of like CSGO or something like that, where they just have one game and they're just constantly updating that one game. I feel like that would be much better. And that's something that we've seen with Warzone. They've just updated Warzone. And I feel like if they fix the cheaters on Warzone, then that game mode is basically keeping Call of Duty alive. I know multiplayer is really popular and will always be really popular. Like I said at the start of the video, like what, $800 million in 1 year? Like that's crazy, my numbers for a video game. I think they're always like in the top 5 bestsellers of every year, or even like the biggest game of each year is Call of Duty, I'm pretty sure. But I just think the Warzone sort of gave Call of Duty a new light and a new beacon of hope that they can sort of hopefully push for the future, and new games can use it as a template to like sort of bring new ideas to the play, because multiplayer is getting a little bit old. Zombies is also getting a little bit old. But I do like the campaigns every single year. I don't think there's been a terrible campaign. The Call of Duty Ghost campaign was a little bit weak, but I was honestly looking forward to a Ghost 2 campaign, and I was sort of let down by the fact that they went and did a World War game instead of just going for their guts and going for Ghost 2. I know it got panned a lot, but if they just changed the things and made the maps better and the guns better, and just the game was boring, man. That's the only problem with Ghost. It was a boring game, but I still enjoyed it. From a campaign perspective, I know that the multiplayer and the Infected was a little bit boring. Like, not Infected, that's a game mode. The one with all the aliens, but they weren't really inventive. That was the only area where they were inventive, and that flopped. But if they were just they like jumped on some more new things and made some more new cool add-ons to their game, I feel like Ghost 2 could have been a solid game if they learned from their mistakes. And that's why I think Call of Duty Vanguard will flop, because it's stale, unoriginal, and we've seen it before, and it's almost a game that's already come out. We know what we're gonna get before it's even here. And when you have that problem with your game isn't going to succeed, because your customers will already know what they're getting before they've even pressed play. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram at robsterpvp, and bye.